All right. Let's load up the chat. Let's start the poll. Let's see where we end up tonight, shall we? I don't have much of a channel update, but that's because of the way things have been going. And I'm hoping I don't get forced this weekend, but it's looking like it's a very real possibility again. Let's see. Those are done. And that's done. Okay. Yeah. Not much, like I said, in terms of that. Let's activate the live chat, make sure that it's actually up and working, and we'll check and see what's going on. Make sure that that's right. Oh, there we go. Yep. Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's up? Mafia Bill. Every now and then I wear my hat. I got a couple of hats. I got this hat. I have a fedora that I like quite a bit. Yeah, but I can get that actually. It is kind of like one of those old wise guy hats, isn't it? Kind of. But nothing too much to report channel-wise. We're up and going. I got a couple of videos out. I hope to get a good deal of them this week. I don't know realistically how much, but I'm hoping to start catching us up. I know every time I say that, work seems to pick up, and then I seem to live on overtime, and then as I'm living on overtime, I don't feel like I want to. I get it. I know it happens. I would say I'm working on it. There's nothing I can do about it. It is what it is. And also, with me trying to get back into an exercise routine, there are days that now that I'm coming home, and then by the time I do an exercise routine and then go back and then pick up my wife and then come here, and then it's like 6 o'clock or 6:30. Sometimes I don't feel like editing. Like I just don't have it in me. It's very much a state of mind. It's one of those things that, like a lot of YouTubers, for some reason, it doesn't seem to get talked about very much. But like, YouTube can drain on you very fast with the amount of editing and rewatching things you've already done, and then you edit that thing, and then you, like, especially what I'm doing with the chapters, sometimes I'll edit a video only to figure out that, like, I'll be like, oh, looks like we're about to talk about a topic. That makes a lot of sense. I'll go ahead and clip this, and then it's only like 2 minutes or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I guess we didn't discuss that for very long. Then another one will be like 10 minutes, and then we'll pick the topic back up later in the video, so I'll render that, think I'm done, go to upload it, then hear us start talking, and I'm like, crap, and then I got to go back and make like an edit. So it takes a little more to edit than people tend to realize, because anything that you filmed, you have to watch, and you have to clip, and then you have to render, and then you kind of got to watch whatever it is that you just rendered, or rather you should. I've noticed oftentimes I can kind of catch when people don't, because I'll see where people are editing and they'll get the same clip twice where they'll say something and then say the exact same thing, because what they're doing is they're clicking out their stuff to how they spoke something that they wrote down or a script that they read, and then they'll get somewhere towards the middle and they think that because they're editing it, they've seen it, they know, and then in the middle of the video somebody will be like, so, like, somebody will say something to the extent of, if we look here, you can see exactly this situation in play. And then immediately, right after that, it'll say this situation in play, and then they'll keep going, and I'll be like, oh, I know what happened there. Like, because I know that you were clipping whatever it was you were saying, so that you were taking like the best clips and getting rid of things like ums and whatnot. And when you do that, if you don't go back and rewatch the whole thing, yeah. So it's wild sometimes when I see stuff like that. But I don't do that. or rather I try my best not to do that. My style for this is we do the show, then I watch what we did, then I clip what I believe needs to be clipped. Then after I edit that part, I watch it and then I upload it. And then, believe it or not, after I upload it, I let it play or watch it again. So it could take me a while because I also want to be sure that once it's posted, it's in my memory enough that when I start getting comments, I'm able to actually refrain back. Somebody will say, hey, I disagree, or I see this, or what's up with this? Or how come you said this? And then I can be like, did I say that? And I need to know for my own reference whether or not, because some people, they don't watch a video. And you could tell that sometimes where they'll see like the first part of a video and they've already made a decision as to they don't like what you have to say or something like that. So they'll snap back and I'll be like, I actually said that about 7 minutes into the video. Word for word. You were just mad because the video started with, hey, this is their fault, or I don't agree with this thing, or whatever, and you immediately took to the keyboard. So, yeah, editing can be a real thing. So that's the reason sometimes these chapters are coming out like back to back to back, because I'll be in the mood and I'll be like, I can do this, and I'll knock out 4 or 5 of them, and then other times I'm just like, I can't sit here right now, Hat, chair, bill, all 3 exclusive action figures sold separately. Way off topic. Just wanted to make sure you and the rest of the group were doing okay. Loved y'all's reviews. Well, thanks for saying something. In terms of that, because I know I still get a lot of people that come over here that came from like the Sentai Review and Fandom Night or Legacy of Gaming and things of that nature that we did. What is going on with the group so far? Nick seems to be doing all right. His life has definitely changed dramatically since the event that took place that took him out of the show. Excuse me, but he is doing quite fine, actually. The chance that he would come back to do anything is extraordinarily low. I feel like the situation that took place that took him out of the show did impact his life in a way that I don't know if he would ever come back to do another episode of anything. Seth has been on pretty hard times for what it's worth. He is making do with the situation the best he can, but it is not easy. There's a lot of factors involved. I will not get into it. That is his personal stuff. But know that for what it's worth, I am still checking in on him whenever I can, and we are still maintaining some form of communication. It is not vast anywhere near the level that it used to be, and part of that is not great. I'll be 100% honest, because these are my brothers. I've grown up with them. I love them, and I want the best for them, so we are working on that whole situation in relative time. Shane has been through a couple of things, but he is starting to get all his stuff back on track, and as that stuff starts to even out, he has talked to me about wanting to do something, about wanting to come back and do a couple final episodes or something like that, and kind of talking over some ideas and whatnot. We don't know where that will go or how that will work, but that has been in discussion with Shane for real. So if anything ever happened, it would basically be finding a chance to do something with probably Seth and Shane and me, and that would probably be the entirety of the show. However, a while ago, I met up with Scott at a convention. He gave me a couple of action figures, actually. And when we were there, we got to talking. I'm not about to make any promises, but we had a very real discussion about coming back to do something very specific. And he was actually getting a folder together for a possibility. No promises. No guarantees. Do not get your hopes up. I don't know the reality of that situation, but know that we are actually in talks. It has not sat well with any of us that Fandom Night went out the way that it did. But the group got hit hard, and we have not honestly fully recovered from what happened. It was a multitude of things. There were family deaths, there were situations at hand, there were medical things that took place. That I'm not at liberty to say too much else about it realistically. Their stuff is their stuff, and I can only kind of comment on the things that I can comment on. That being said, I think some real conversations are going to be coming up now that the weather is breaking. I'm going to reopen my house, and I'm going to start some cookouts, and I'm going to invite everybody over, and we are going to be in real discussions as to what the future holds and what everybody is going through, still needs to go through, or has recovered from. And we're going to be figuring that out. So I really do appreciate the fact that you guys care at all. Know that we are making it. We are making it. You guys see me all the time. I know that you don't see the other guys all the time, and it is kind of a wonder as to what happened or where they all kind of went off to and if they're okay. That's pretty much the most I can elaborate on all of it currently. Got some throat problems at the moment. Still a little bit under the weather myself. I get it. I get it because I can feel my sinuses hitting a little bit tonight, more so than they have in the last couple weeks. And it has me the littlest bit concerned, but we'll see what it does. Hopefully nothing, because I really would like to get some filming stuff done. Get anything cool in the mail lately, Bill? No. I don't know why you would ask that. I haven't gotten anything cool in the mail. At all. There's nothing out there that's even worth talking about. Like nothing. Like it's wild just how much nothing there is out there. Like there's just nothing to talk about really, you know? Like I just don't know. You know, I just don't know. I just don't know. You know, like, I mean, I'd like to tell you that I picked up some things that, you know, have escaped my grasp over the years, but like, I haven't accumulated anything recently that's worth discussing, is what I'll say. I mean, you know, sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's like that. I enjoy your trivia night, and could you make it? You might be the first person that has ever said anything about that trivia night. Ever. I wrote those questions. All of them. If it's the Fandom Night trivia night, I enjoyed that a lot. Like, I had a really good time, and I think the guys did too. And, like, you might be the first person ever to bring up that video. Ever. Like, I don't think I've ever seen it before. That comment. I really enjoyed that video myself. I have rewatched it a couple times and even planned out questions before. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I actually have a notebook, and I actually have about 20 questions that were planned to do another one of those. That would be fun. Like, a lot of fun. I also hope so. Have you seen the Fangkong X Warhorse Studio 1/12 Achillea figure? It's basically another female gladiator that reminds me of Goldhilder. If it's the one I think you are talking about. If it's what I think you're talking about, I have it pre-ordered. If it's what I think you're talking about, let me guarantee it. But I am almost positive that this is what I think it is. Oh, No. So, first off, let's double check that. It is what I thought it is. I hate that I am doing it. But as it stands right now, I think she is absolutely lovely. And I think that she's one of the coolest figures I've seen in a very long time. However, as it stands right now, where my current funds are right now, I could not justify it. Like, I have a lot of stuff dropping in March. I'm surprised that it's still up for pre-order. So who knows? But with certain Frazetta icons and whatnot dropping in March, already stealing, like March is big. A lot of stuff got pushed back into March to the point where I actually canceled the black and white Red Sonja to guarantee the money for the other things. I looked at it and said, while I do want this and I like the black, white, and red, and I think it would be really cool, I have to make a decision here, and my decision has to go to what makes more sense. And what makes more sense at this current moment is that I already have Red Sonja. I would be missing out on a different color variant of Red Sonja, but not a different version of Red Sonja. That I can live with. And chances are when she comes in, there will be stock of her if I end up in that position. But because so many things got moved into March, I probably have, we've talked about this before. Let me move Mike. We've talked about this before. I have a very specific budget, and I follow it. And that budget, specifically, it is set in a way that at the most I can only ever have $500. Like, that's just the way it is. Because that is how I've maintained my budget over the years, is I have a card. That card has a max of 500. I buy figures with it. Once it is done, once it's run its course, it's done. And until I put money on the card, I don't buy anything else. That's my safety card. That's how I keep myself in line. If I went to a convention, I bought some stuff off the convention, bunch of stuff fell into March. March is now stocked with stuff. I think I've already got like about 380 claimed on that card easily. It's pretty much dead. At this point, it's pretty much dead. So I had to pass on her. And I'm going to cross my fingers that I can do an overtime day, put the money back, and that she will still be available. Because I think she looks fantastic. Like, absolutely. She is something that really catches my attention. But I just can't justify it right now. So, let us do either or we have, or we can do sure, there. They tied, so I took a figure from each and we'll see how it turns out. Seeing you got Warbird, awesome, Bill. Unfortunately, Hasbro Pulse charged me, but hasn't shipped mine. What? I ordered mine from Big Bad. I often do, to be fair. I guess I'll call it my preferred toy store, but it's not like an endorsement. Don't misunderstand where I'm coming from with that. I bought a couple things from Entertainment Earth. They were fine. I didn't have any problems. I bought a couple things from Big Bad. They've been more than reliable. And every now and then I buy some things from like Amazon or oddities like, Nerdzoic and things like that. I will buy from just about whoever I can get a figure from. But the easiest thing for me is I just have Big Bad on my home screen, and if they have it, I just don't have to think about it. I know that sometimes people are like, oh, well, on Big Bad, you got to pay some extra money. First off, I bought 2 of my figures from Frazetta Icons directly from Frazetta Girls. And then I bought 2 figures so far from Big Bad. And the difference in price is almost non-existent. I know that it feels that way because they're like, oh, they're $90 here, but they're $107 or whatever at Big Bad. But then Big Bad only charges me $4 shipping. And Frazetta ended up costing me like $15.98 shipping. So like, you get where I'm coming from? It's not really that different, is what I'm saying. You're gonna pay the price of the figure pretty much regardless. So if it comes up on their home screen and it's just easier for me to add it to my already list of stuff, which also means that I don't have to go to random like 7 different sites and kind of like keep track of my pre-orders. I don't want to do that. Like, I have no interest in doing that. I want one tab where I can click on it, look at everything, and make decisions in real time. And so I just kind of stick to Big Bad more than anybody else. Plus, they're fairly reliable with the amount of stuff that they get. I normally don't have to go to Savage Crucible to get Savage Crucible or whatever. I don't have to go to, special stores or whatever. The only time I have to go out of my way anymore, it seems, is Target. Like, which we've got that coming up in 2 days. Because I think I've made a decision. I think I want Muse. I was really thinking about it, and I don't think I can pass Muse up. Not for the very simple fact that Muse actually has something in my life. Like, I know that's wild because he's such a new character that people would think that, how can that be one of those things that's like a nostalgic thing or whatever that goes on your shelf that like has a story? Muse can't already have stories, but he does. He has a very real comic book moment story, and I think it's too important for me to pass by. I think I'm getting him. Hopefully, because he launches in like 2 days, and it's going to be a Target exclusive, and we know how that works. But we'll see. Let's see. When does McFarlane stop making figures for DC? I was wondering that exact same thing. Because now I'm hearing it's like the middle of next year. And last year I was hearing it's the middle of this year. I heard he only had till like July or June of this year when the conversation first started. They said the middle of 2026 he can no longer produce figures. Now I'm hearing that he'll be shipping figures out all the way into next year. And I'm also hearing that there's some sort of discussion taking place right now that he's still in conversation about the license. So is the DC multiverse even going to end? Like, are we in a panic mode because a decision has not been made, but a decision but a decision doesn't even have to be made until the middle of next year? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm actually very lost at that on that whole situation right now because there's so much information and conflicting information on top of it. Like, he doesn't stop making DC figures until 2027. See? It was believed at first the second half of 2026. I didn't even see you write that. I guess that proves that I actually do pay attention for what it's worth. But that was misreported, and it's actually 2027. Okay. See? Let's see. Hasbro Pulse is usually good with shipping pre-orders fast, and it's this instance for me. Like, now I have ordered a couple things from Pulse, and I've had no issues. I mean, of course I have. I got the Sentinel and whatnot. But I've also ordered smaller figures. Like, I bought my sniper from for Joe's up there. I bought her from Hasbro, and I didn't have any problems. I bought her and she shipped almost the very next day and whatnot. So yeah, I haven't had any real issues with them in terms of that. Normally they send me an email and they charge me to send it. So yeah, let's see, we're at 6 minutes. Oh man, so far only 2, and they've both gone to Warbird. That's okay. Yeah, I've been leaning more on Big Bad Toy Store as of late. I only have maybe 4 pre-orders on Hasbro Pulse. The rest of my pre-orders are all on Big Bad Toy Store and Amazon. I was surprised that McFarlane is still making DC figures up until now, despite the initial reports, hoping to get a good Batman figure from McFarlane before the license expired. You mean to tell me... No, hold on. Are you saying there hasn't even been one good Batman figure yet? Is that what we're saying? I won't fault you. It's your decision as to what is actually good or not good. But that seems wild to me that you haven't found even one that you like. Because I got to admit, at first I was right there with you. But I think I've got like 9 or 10 Batmans now that I actually like from him. Like I quite a bit, actually. Not that they're the best Batmans I've ever owned, but like he makes some really solid Batmans. I mean, when your line consists of 80% Batman, I'm being exaggeratory, but you get the idea. I think it's confusion, and some leakers reporting on multiple sources. It's all over the place. It's already March. Where is Savage Crucible's Death Dealer figure they promised us? Oh, I know. Yeah. I did not get it, but that feels like a long time ago that I made that video and talked about that, and I still haven't seen a thing about it. By good Batman figure, I mean an ultimate style Batman in the likes of the Maximum series. So like a Batman made for that Elite collection that he does? Because I don't know. I'm not saying it wouldn't be. I'm happy with some of them that he's given me. Like, it's for what he is, because he's McFarlane. You're going to get what you're going to get. He has a very specific style that he likes to use, and that's kind of, by now we should just kind of be used to that's the toys that he likes to produce, you know what I mean? So, like, I get it, but... Well, Warbird. Right here. Here she is. See her? That, right there, was Ms. Marvel when I grew up. That, right there, was Captain Marvel when I grew up. This suit right here, this is the one I recognize. This is the one I seen when she crossed over in things like the X-Men. This is what I seen when I seen her doing things with the Avengers and whatnot. This is the costume that I remember when she fought alongside Spider-Man in the Avengers and things of that nature. This is the style that I remember and I like. And there were a couple of things that I always liked about her. One, and this is going to sound weird, but as you could see from the art style, she was one of those few female characters back then, personally, that I felt looked capable. And the weird thing about it is she has such ridiculous power that they didn't even need to do that. But body-wise, she always felt like a powerhouse to me. She felt like their answer to Power Girl. That's what it felt like. I liked Power Girl and I liked this. I liked the big giant boots. Call them what you want. I've heard people call them hooker boots. I don't care. I think they're really cool looking, actually. I get that you could argue either way, whatever. I'm not here to do that. I like these one-piece things. I like the bodysuits. It's a throwback to muscle suits. Like I really do. I think they work better on women than they do on men nowadays. That's just a style in general. But like, when you get these kinds of suits, they remind me of like builders, like bodybuilders and whatnot. And there's something cool about that, kind of like circus strongmen, kind of were the chosen idea, the suit that they kind of used for like early superheroes. I feel like there's an interesting level of throwback when you put the girls in like the bodysuit thing. I actually kind of like that, the one piece thing. I just think it works. There's a difference between a swimsuit and something like this, though. This is not like a one-piece swimsuit. It's not the same idea. I mean, I guess you could argue it's about the same thing, but you could also argue that underwear is swimming clothes. You see what I'm saying? I don't think it's the same concept. I think there is something to actually showing off the power, build, body, muscles. Like, I think it's cool. I do. I actually think that it works for certain characters. Everything about this worked for me. I really liked this look. To the point where no other look that I've ever seen Ms. Marvel or Captain Marvel, however you want to argue, I've never seen another look work for her. I'm serious about that. Her early works, I don't think they worked. I don't think they're the same things. Whatever, right? Also, I also don't like what she looks like today. And maybe, I guess if I'm being perfectly fair, I'm so behind the times in comics, I actually stopped reading single issues and went on to buying full storylines that interested me. So I'm kind of all over when it comes to books now. I don't really keep up with a lot of the modern stuff anymore the way that I used to. And because of that, I'm kind of at a point where what I probably picture as her current look probably isn't even actually her current look. But I will go ahead and say that I probably don't prefer that either. This is how I seen her. This is how I see her. This is the classic. This is when you argue Spider-Man and you talk the red and blue, what do? We always go, that's Spider-Man. That's classic. That's the way it is. Wolverine has an argument. Normally people argue between the 70s and the 80s look, the brown suit or the yellow suit. You could argue either one, I think, with that. I think they both kind of have a real spot in history. There are certain characters that have very specific looks that feel classic. This feels classic. So, when they announced her, I immediately ran off to get her. And she sold out fast. Like, so fast that I remember I was at work. I knew that it was about to come out. So I was like, oh crap, I'm going to miss it. So I got up and I was like, I guess I better go to the bathroom. Ba-doop-ba-doop-ba-doo. Got to the bathroom, sat down, took the phone out. She was sold out. So in the time that it took for me to realize that the sale must have been going on, walk to the bathroom, sit down, and attempt to buy her, she was sold out. She was gone. And I said, well, crap. Guess I better try the stores. So I talked to a couple of my friends and said, keep an eye out. I really want Warbird. Nobody ever came across her. She didn't show up in a single Target anywhere. And I got to a point where I started thinking to myself, I can either pay the big money or I can just shrug my shoulders and say, I guess I'm not getting one. And I did. I shrugged my shoulders and I said, I'm not getting one. Warbird is not for Bill. Shame. But then I started noticing something that Marvel Legends does. They re-release figures. And they re-release things that are already out. And I've watched people complain about it. I've seen people that go, that's just the Build-A-Figure repackaged, blah, blah, blah. I already have it. They should have updated it. That's not for you. That's for Bill. That's the truth of it. That's who they're aiming this at. Like, they released her re-release, and they said, who still doesn't have one of these? And Bill said, right back here, hey, rut this guy. And I got one. I finally got one. It is not a normal thing to see that done in some other toy lines. McFarlane. Just just going to say it. McFarlane. We may get a repaint, but we don't just get a simple re-release. Like, they don't take the Nightfall Batman and re-release him. No, they will reuse basically everything about him, repaint him, change what he is, and put him out. But if that's the one you wanted specifically, if you wanted, I'm going to complain about it again. Here it comes. He's going to complain. He's going to gripe. If you wanted that specific Wonder Woman, you ain't getting it. I have hope, because he said that he's putting out a classic Wonder Woman soon, a George Perez Wonder Woman. That could be an argument to reuse that body as a recolor and switch the head, and they would probably get away with it. If they do that, I might finally get the Wonder Woman that I've been looking for. Marvel Legends is so established that they're just like, hey, let's just do it again. Let's just put it back out there and see what happens. They can do that. There are other toy lines that don't do it. Let's be honest. Sometimes you miss a Motu Origins and you ain't getting it. It ain't coming back out. Sorry. And there are other toy lines that are like this. They get that one wave. If you get it, you get it. If you didn't, you didn't. So look, I know that we always like to kind of crap on Marvel Legends. I'm talking about YouTubers in general. That's when I say we. I know that it's a common thing. I don't know why 100% that it is, if I'm being perfectly honest, because stuff like this kind of makes them one of my favorite things. Because if you just wait, if you're just patient, if you just give it a little while, chances are the thing you're looking for will come back out or come back around. It's cool to have things right when we want them, sure. But sometimes just waiting a little while will get you something even better. I mean, look, that Daredevil's coming out. I have him on pre-order. I was in debate to go back and just go out of my way and pay the extra value to get a red suit Daredevil, and I'm glad I waited. Sometimes with Marvel Legends, you just wait. It'll come back out. It'll come back around or something, or they'll do a full-out re-release. It's worth it, man. It's worth it. Let's open her. All right. Well, we have 2 expression hands. We have these again. I've probably got 20 of these. But we got them, so more energy effect. And then, of course, we have her. And she's solid. So let's just get that out of the way right off the bat. We are using the same belt that I seen that they reused this belt for the Phoenix character up there. I apologize. Back up. I know we're talking about the Phoenix. You don't got to be that excited, camera. Otherwise, she does have butterflies. And they go back pretty good. It's not absolute insanity, but pretty good. And they go in pretty good. Enough that as we were making comments about the Hulk and whatnot being able to clap, she can push her hands together. She can actually do that. So I guess, that's great. Otherwise, she could probably have better articulation in the upper torso moving down. It's not that great, but she can actually do like this. That's a pretty big deal. I've been arguing about the fact that all of the girls, all of them, need this lower articulation now. It's not a sometimes, it's not an every other character now. I think that we've actually made it this point. Every single one of them should have that. Every single one of them, I'm telling you. Otherwise, there's her butt. In case anybody cares, there it is. There's the cheeks. Oh, good ankle. Good ankle. That was easy, too, actually, the way that it didn't resist me at all, actually. Let's see if we can get a decent pose without even having to try. Put that up. Move her back like this. Put her arms. Float her this way. Simple enough. If you can pose a figure almost without having to try, it's good. Like, that kind of sticks as a rule of thumb to me. Because if you can get a decent pose right when you take them out, you haven't even really settled yet. You haven't even gotten to that point where you start going, okay, well, what if I this and kind of move it around and try like this and like really start putting the figure through its paces. If at the very first thing you try is just a simple action pose and it strikes solid, it's a good figure. Like almost right off the bat, because at that point, when you start getting complicated, you might come across a couple things you can't do. But you know that in simple terms, you're guaranteed to have a figure that poses well without question. This should be the standard female buck. I mean, I know that the boots are actually, this is probably not the best idea because these are actually on here, but these legs are definitely going to be reused. Boots like this, we're going to see them reused. In fact, we have a couple of things that these boots could easily be reused for. Like easily, very, very soon, characters that we might be seeing. The gloves are painted on, so these are just arms. And if you're telling me that you just have straight up female arms, there's no reason that every single girl should not automatically get just female arms. Like, I think we're getting better. We really are. But I can't help but say that we're still, like, if you want to see the failing of a line, look to the female characters. Like, that's often where they're going to cheap out. I've noticed that with a lot of lines. She does have another head. So she has this head where she has the this head where she has the smaller. Back up. This isn't working. Back up. No. Back up, camera. But yes, we have this one where she has the smaller domino mask. And then we have another one where she has the bigger domino mask. I think this is a difference of this costume a couple years removed. I really think that's what this is. I'm not going to claim to be an expert, but I seem to remember the mask being big, and I seem to also remember the mask being smaller. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe that's like, where I'm remembering something that didn't really happen, and maybe she always had the bigger mask or always had the smaller mask, and this is for something else. That if you have a different figure, you could swap this head and it'll work or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know. Otherwise, though, I think she's solid. I think, personally, I like the other one, though. This one is not a bad. It's not bad. It's definitely not. But I actually think I prefer the smaller mask. And for what it's worth, I kind of like that the hair is kind of flying to the side on this one. And it doesn't get in her way. She has the same female hair problem that so many figures have, where her hair gets in her way, but it's less so with the expression head and the smaller mask. Do I know if I'm right about that smaller mask? No. Does it matter to me? No. I got Warbird. Either head sculpt would do. I'm happy with it. I think she's a very solid figure. And for what it's worth, I never need another one. I don't. She's not a character that I invest that hard in. I just have a very specific design that I've always really appreciated and loved. And I remember feeling a certain way when that design went away and then never came back. And then they released that figure, and I thought, that figure is for Bill. And then I didn't get that figure, which didn't exactly sit well with me. And now I got it, and it's almost like it's a little bit of curing FOMO. I will admit that to a small degree, but she is something that I specifically like quite a bit back in that era. I don't necessarily love what they were doing with the character after that era. As moving forward, I've seen her just kind of enter storylines that I didn't necessarily care for, so I don't care to have any of the other costumes. And maybe it also has more ties to do with X-Men, but either way, added to the shelf, happy with her. Let me set up the next thing. So we'll set up the next thing, and then we'll do some talking and whatnot. So dupe. Okay. So we will go. We are at a state of being mildly buried here. Until some of the other figures get out of our way, we're kind of stuck in a loop. Because I'm not going to sit on camera and like dig through a bunch of stuff. I'm going to go for what happens to be easily accessible. So, glad to hear that everyone is at least okay. So sorry for my late response. I was at work and I didn't want to miss your live stream. Hey, man, not an issue. Never an issue. Don't worry about it. You don't got to apologize. We all has to work. I very much get it. I'm kind of happy with the way that I do the show, though, in terms of that, because I found that sometimes if you are just at work or if you are just kind of ghost listening, like you've got it on and you're doing your own thing, most of this is just like a conversation, so it doesn't hurt to be able to listen to it that way. Hey, everyone, what is going on? Let's see. Wish that McFarlane would make a better version of the Batman that he designed years ago. Got the gold label and the variant versions of those, but the design could be better. That's way too vague for me. There's so many of them at this point. I wouldn't even know which one you're referencing anymore. I commented on the brabble. Okay. I commented on the video of another toy collector on YouTube pointing out that these re-releases are for new collectors. Right, they are. That's fair. They're for people that either missed out customizers that have a very specific idea but are not comfortable with customizing the one figure they have, or they're for people that are just getting in. It is funny to me to watch how everybody, like, there's so many people on YouTube that seem to be under this impression that, like, everything is made for them at the point that they're at in their collecting life and for nobody else. That is not the way it works. 100%. There is somebody new out there getting into something old every day. Let us reference something very specific that Bill loves very, 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 very much. Conan. This has been around for a minute. Couple of minutes. Conan is one of those things that even if you don't realize it, the style of the Conan books, the design, the ideas behind it are major influences on properties that people like today, even if they don't even know what it is. And the thing that's interesting about it is that by the time I got into it, it was way old. Older than me by far. Then, there are people today that still have never read any Conan books. They haven't read the books, they've never read the comics, and they're literally just getting into it with the new Titan books. They're only like 7 volumes in on the graphic novels, and they're early enough that you could easily get on board. And some people, that is their jumping point. They get on, they experience some Conan, they find out what it's been about, why people like it the way they do, and then all of a sudden they're in. Why should I be irritated or offended if 2 years from now they re-release this Conan? You know, there are people, I'm 42, there are people that are 18 years old. There are people that are younger than that. I think I read my first Conan books when I was like 8. I'm serious about that. I think that was around the time, and I could talk to you about where that comes from as well. But say they re-release this exact figure, this based on the Frazetta paintings, artwork, Conan the Barbarian again, and they give everybody a chance to get it again. Why should I be mad about that? If it's the exact same figure, why should I be like, oh man, you didn't update him or anything. Now I can't spend my money. I don't need to spend my money. I have that Conan. Is there some reason I shouldn't want other people to also have that Conan? Like, what's the point of that? I want everybody to have a Conan. Even if it's the one I already have. Everybody deserves at least one Conan on their shelf. Everybody. Everyone. And people get into this at different times. There are 15-year-olds right now that are reading comic books for the first time in their entire life. That's a real thing. And they may very well start buying figures. And you know what? They don't have that Jean Grey yet. They don't have a Captain America yet. They don't have a Hulk yet. They don't have a Rogue. They don't even know what She-Hulk really is, because their only reference point is the MCU. There's nothing wrong with re-releases of characters that give people a chance to get in on something. And also, it helps to fix the market a little bit. Because if they re-release something like this, and enough people already have it, that they're like, well, I'm not going to buy another one. She's really cool, but I don't need 2. Great. Because that means while you wait to get an upgrade to the figure, which might happen in the next 5 years, who knows, everybody that didn't get one, or the new people that are jumping in, that's their time. It will never make sense to me, this idea of gatekeeping this hobby. Everybody gets in at a different time, And because of the way that I collect, I can tell you that if anybody collects like I do, the things that you collect change as time goes on. Sometimes they mean a lot to you at the time that you get them. Sometimes they mean more to you later and you didn't realize it because part of your personality changes, part of your life changes, and you start getting into different things in different ways. And sometimes the thing that you were not into, because it just didn't really speak to you, maybe you didn't understand it. And by the time you got into it, by the time you realized that, like, oh my God, Daredevil is for me. But now there's no Daredevil for me to buy. There will be. And hopefully, it will be a re-release of the best possible version that's ever been done, so you can get in on the ground floor with everybody else. I'll never understand this "it has to be for us" crap. Like, it's a concept I can't understand. Everybody gets into collecting at a different point in time, in a different way, for a different reason, with different things. Everybody's collection looks different, and everybody, for what it's worth, is at a different step in their life, depending on when they can get into something like this, or when they have to get out of it for whatever reason. Let people have things. Like, I do not understand these YouTubers that, like, blow up and freak out about, oh, they're releasing, it's nothing, it's just the stupid Build-A-Figure, I already got that stupid figure, everybody already has that figure. No, they don't. You're not the only person living. Let other people in. I know that's a lot for this one comment, but, like, it really is something I think about a lot. That skipped me down further than I meant to. I had a bunch of replies where they were calling me a Hasbro and a shill. Nobody wants these, man. Why are you shilling for a multi-million-dollar company? See, yeah. Nobody wants these. It's their form of cope. The same people who said that nobody wants Gamerverse figures, people will still be buying it. Right. 100%. I just think it's funny that they foam at the mouth and just go on the attack. Hey, Bill, thoughts on the Street Fighter Alpha 3 Storm Arena Sagat 1/12 scale action figure? Don't have them. I didn't buy it. I haven't bought anything from Storm Arena yet. Until last week. I will be reviewing my first Storm Arena figure when she gets here. So far, I have told myself the main versions of the characters I want, I'm already buying Jada. I'm not jumping ship this far in. They're at this point, they are finishing Street Fighter 2. I'm buying all of Street Fighter 2. And I don't need 4 versions of Ryu. I don't need 4 versions of Ken. I don't need it. I don't need a different Sagat. The one that I have, I am more than happy with. So this did not get my attention. I realize it's Alpha Sagat. And one could argue, well, that's a different Sagat. Yes, it is. You are right. However, it's still just Sagat. It doesn't floor me. I don't care. But there are certain Alpha characters that this got my attention. And Chun-Li is one of them. So, my first Storm Arena character will be Chun-Li Street Fighter Alpha. And I'm looking forward to it. Teen Chun-Li is going to be cool. I love the tracksuit. I love that little coat vest thing that she wears. That's just so neat. I don't know why. I don't know why. I really like it. And yes, there were opportunities for me to buy other Chun-Lis. I saw them. I saw the hypersexualized teen Chun-Li. But let us be honest about what it is. Alpha Chun-Li is teenager Chun-Li. I don't need hypersexualized teen Chun-Li. I'm very happy with what the Storm Arena is doing. She looks fit. She looks powerful. I like the shoes. I love the Bruce Lee tennis shoe things. That's so cool. I love the jumpsuit thing. I love the vest thing that she wears. I love that she's got like the head buns, but she's not yet wearing the covers for them. Like, she's younger. She's a little less experienced. She's probably quicker. Like, but that's everything about that plays in well. I can't wait to add her. And with her being at 1/12, I'm looking forward to seeing how she scales against the Jada figures. Everything about that I'm very much looking forward to. I can't wait. So I don't have any thoughts on him, but I will have thoughts later. And depending on how she works out, it'll open the door into Storm Arena, because they've got some stuff that I'm very, very interested in. Because as they do Alpha, they will do certain characters that I can only really get from them. And as they branch into other things like Darkstalkers or whatnot, oh, you have my attention 100%. And the idea that I can mix a bunch of really cool fighting games that I grew up with on the shelf, oh, sign me up. I'm very excited for this. I'm really hoping she turns out to be everything I want her to be. I'm very excited about it. I really am. I can't wait. So cool. So absolutely cool. So that's my answer to that. I don't have one yet, which means I don't have an opinion, but I very soon will have an opinion. Let's see. Before I go any further, let's get this, because DC1. There. We have what all do I have sitting here for them? Because it's a couple. I know I have him. I have that. Oh, that's right. What are you? Oh, okay. That's the last one. Okay. There. I bet they bought them even though they said even though that they like to troll people for reactions. I bet they get them. Yeah, you do. You see it all the time. True, but there was one guy who said, oh man, nobody wants that. The re-release Lizard, it's going to be sitting at Ollie's within months. Okay, let's say that it is. Good? And if that's true, nobody wants it, I don't got a Lizard. I bought it. I don't got a Lizard. So, like, I've never understood that whole thing. I really don't. Like, I bought it. So, I mean, his comment, nobody wants that Lizard. Re-release, I wanted it. I bought it. I don't have it. I plan to be thrilled with it. So, he's wrong. Whoever he was, he's wrong. And it sounds sad for somebody to even be like, nobody wants, like, somebody does. That's somebody's favorite character. And somebody has ideas to make customs and things like that. There's always a reason. And if it does end up at Ollie's, well, then more power to everybody else that goes out there and gets a Lizard for cheap that's just now getting into the hobby. Because let's be honest, a lot of people will go to something like Ollie's to start this hobby. And I bet he buys it. It's just funny because they don't want it and someone does. Yeah. I bet he buys it. It's funny just because they don't want it and somebody does. They're a shill. Yeah, it just doesn't. I don't understand it. I've never understood it myself. I get it. Let's see. Any collector who says nobody wants these, I can't take them seriously after that. Right. Right. Everybody gets in at a different time. And everybody has different likes. And sometimes some people are just big enough spider putzes that, like, maybe you release them in a slightly different scale or give me a different head sculpt that I want, and maybe I'm just putz enough to buy it again. Just saying. I've bought a couple of Spider-Man that I didn't necessarily need. In brightest day, in blackest night, no figure shall escape my sight. For those who worship scalpers' might, beware my power. Bill Lantern's light. I have a lantern, actually. Like a long time ago, somebody gifted me a lantern. I don't have it anymore. Not the one that I'm about to talk about. But they literally made me a Green Lantern. Like, literally. Like, it was a pretty wild gift. It was you could tell that it was made basically from dollar store stuff, but it was done in a very specific way, which was done really well. It was kind of like a bowl that was turned upside down, then there was a middle, like, square, and then, no, back up, and then there was a bowl on each side to form the outer rim thing, and then there was like a thing that was tipped over and a thing so you could hold it. So like it had like kind of like a bucket type thing on the top, and so that you could hold it. And then they built lights into each one of the bowls, so you could, like, when you touch the ring to it, it would light up. And then they put a green covering, like a cellophane or whatever, over the light, so that when you hit it, it would glow out green. And you could do that from like any side, so you could hit it like this with the thing and be like click, and then this green light would come out all over you. It was actually really well done. Like, it took me a little while to look it over to see that it really was made of very simple things, but it was done so well. It really, you couldn't notice when I had it on the shelf. It was cool. Oh, Big Bad Toy Store is going to pop off when Rainbow Mika gets shown and goes up for pre-order. Oh my gosh. Yes. There are certain things that, like, I can't get Rainbow Mika. I doubt that I'm going to get something like Rainbow Mika from Jada. Because Jada seems to be very highly focused. I don't know if it's just the only thing they're doing or what, but they're doing Street Fighter 2. And you know what? I would prefer that they do that. I would prefer that we finish a line. Just let me get the whole cast. Just let me get them. All of it. Okay, I need T-Hawk. I need everybody. And we're very, very, very close. Just let them finish. Hopefully they don't get distracted, because I'm a little scared about Mega Man. I was very into the Mega Man. I still am, to be fair. But I thought we were going to get all of Mega Man 1 and then hop into Mega Man 2. And no, we're not doing that. Now, almost done with Mega Man 1, they just made a ridiculous, unforeseen leap into Mega Man 2. That scares me. Because if we're going to start jumping game to game to game, there's an awful lot of Robot Masters, and, like, are we not going to finish one of the games? Like, because we know that lines do this. They start, they go for a while, you think you're going to finish a team or get something, and especially if it's something like a video game and it only has 12 characters and you're waiting for all 12 of them or whatever, or all 32, and then they get about 20 in, and then they start jumping into the other games, and you're like, no. I really want to finish this. And they're like, yeah, we'll definitely get to that. And then the line ends some 5 years down the road or something like that, and you never finished the shelf because they never finished what they were doing. That scares me. I don't want that. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Like, I really want them to finish what they're doing here, because I want the complete Street Fighter 2 set on the shelf. And I know we're very, very close to getting that. They've been doing real good. Let them finish. And I will worry about other side things, like getting characters outside of Street Fighter 2. I will worry about that with Storm. I'm personally more interested in Storm Arena actually filling out the Darkstalkers roster in 1/12 scale. I'll be happy if Storm Arena releases Felicia. I'll pre-order that in a heartbeat. I'm curious how crazy they would get with that. Like, I mean, I guess I've seen crazier figures. I don't see why they couldn't make her. Like, she's not that. She's kind of like, I guess my real question isn't so much because we know that they'll release a straight up naked figure. So that's not the question. We know that we've seen where companies will release a straight up naked figure. So I'm not concerned about that. What I am curious about, however, when it comes to that figure is how will they handle the tail? Is it just going to be a thing that clips on and it's just like one thing and that's it and you just kind of like turn it or whatever? Or will they go the extra mile? Will it be a wire will it be a wired tail? Because that's kind of cool. How long will it be? Like, the tail is something that could really make or break that figure. Because just like with something like, I was very excited to get Nightcrawler, and I got Nightcrawler, but his tail is just like a thing. It's just there, and I don't think he moves well enough to be what I want him to be. Like, they need an upgrade to Nightcrawler severely. More so than I thought they really needed, but they desperately need it. And I figured that out when I was reviewing the figure. Like, it's not quite what I was hoping it would be. It's absolutely mind-boggling that she hasn't gotten a proper figure yet. It's also been Morgan and Lilith, no Felicia. Yeah, I know that they're out already for Storm, aren't they? Storm Arena? Because I thought I saw some things like, because I looked a little bit when I bought that Chun-Li, I was looking a lot to see if maybe Storm Arena was playing around, and I thought that I seen something in like a preview. You say not yet, but I thought I saw something in a preview that showed that like Morgan was coming out or whatever. Just through Storm Collectibles. Okay. Well, let's see. We are at 9 minutes and really, okay. Well, let me check this. So right now, we're looking at 7 people hanging out. Some people are probably, like we said, at work and whatnot. So we have a tie. We have Howl and Flash. So, I don't have... Come on. Give me this. Okay, this is ridiculous. Why do they pack them there? There's no reason for that to be like that. Okay, you're going to be Flash. Flash. Oh, there he is. JSA Flash. This right here is the Flash that I wanted most for the shelf. And like an idiot, this came out and I passed on it. Why? There's an actual reason. Let's talk about Stupid Bill. Okay? Every now and then, Stupid Bill happens. And Stupid Bill convinces himself that he doesn't want a thing when he actually does want a thing because he's trying so very hard not to get caught up in the FOMO crap where he just buys things that he doesn't want, that he will talk himself out of something that he actually does want like a frickin' idiot. There's a reason I say idiot for this. Because so far in my experience, and I don't want to add to the idea of FOMO, which is what we're about to talk about right here, this line releases a figure, and if you get it, you get it. And if you don't, that's it. I'm just going to go ahead and put this in here. I may complain about Wonder Woman in this specific conversation because I still never got her. And she costs like over $120 in some cases or more right now online. Ridiculous. Because he releases a wave like this. While it's out there, get it. Once it's gone, he does not do a re-release. It doesn't happen for him. It's not like that. He may do a repaint. This is technically a repaint. We'll talk about that. He will do a repaint of a thing. He will not re-release a thing. Not the same idea. If it is the exact figure, design, sculpt you want, and you didn't get it, you ain't getting it. That's kind of the way that he works. It is different than some other lines. But because he also releases a lot of very samey things, I bought a Flash. I bought a Barry Flash. I bought specifically the Barry that has the shiny feet. He has like sparkly feet. He's supposed to be like entering the Speed Force or something like that. Well, I bought him, and I put him on the shelf, and I was like, I got a Flash. I don't love the sparkly feet, but they don't bother me enough that I'm going to go after another Flash. Hey, I made my choice. I bought a Flash. Maybe I jumped too early. If I ever get a chance to buy a very cheap version of that Barry in the paint scheme that I want, sure. But for right now, no. And then they said, hey, Bill, JSA Flash. And I said, well, I've got a Flash. Got here. That was stupid. That was stupid. I looked over the shelf. I knew he was coming out. I knew what he was. And yet, I looked over the shelf. I saw that I already had a Flash. And I said, I don't need two Flashes. Like, what am I going to do with that? That's not me. I don't like the fact that I have 7 Batman. I actually don't like that. I'm not into the idea of multiple Superman. I have taken Superman off the shelf to remove it from the collection because I only have the space that I have. Like, I have very specific Green Lanterns. And when I just bought a new Green Lantern, a replacement for Hal Jordan, I took the other Hal Jordan off the shelf because I don't need an armored Hal Jordan if I have a classic Hal Jordan, the one that I specifically want. All I need is one. I don't need 5 different versions of certain characters. Some get a pass. I won't lie about that. There are enough Supermans with enough variations and enough recognizable things and situations over the course of my life that I loved enough that I bought multiple Supermans. And they're not going anywhere. I did take one off the shelf. There was an entire story behind that. So, I overcompensated. And I said, Bill, the only reason you want that Flash is because of FOMO. You're not buying it. You've got a Flash. Happy with it. You said you're happy with it. Let's move on. So I did. I moved on. And it did not hit me till later that was stupid. Why was it stupid? Why is this Flash not FOMO? Now that I've said that I talked myself out of it because it's no reason I should be buying into FOMO, how can I justify buying a Flash, which I literally told myself not to buy because that's FOMO and I don't need another Flash? Here's why. This is my Flash. When I was growing up, Barry was dead. He was dead. He was dead for like 20 years. He died in like 85. And he was dead. Very dead. He was one of those few things in comic books that actually felt permanent. there was a lot of talk at the time that Barry was never coming back. That this was the status. This is how it was. When I grew up, the Justice League cartoon that I watched, that was not Barry Allen. That was Wally West. That was my Flash. That's the one I grew up with. Wally. When I grew up, I read the JSA and JLA, and I read all of that. It was one of the first times ever in my early life that I remember like buying an entire run of books from the start to the finish. I bought every single book of JLA, every single one, start to finish, and I read all of it. And while I was reading it, I remember very specifically they would talk about the fact, like, Wally would make comments about not being as good as Barry, or not knowing if he could do it, or wondering if he was up to the task, or things of that nature. And like, even when he would sometimes surpass Barry, which happened a lot more than we would like to admit for some reason, it actually did. It happened quite a bit that he would pull off feats that Barry would have been jealous of back then. And yet, there was always a little bit of self-doubt. He was Kid Flash. He'd taken over. He didn't really earn the mantle, in his opinion. There was a character arc taking place there. He was coming into his own. He was becoming the Flash. Not a Flash, but the Flash. He had a somewhat different suit. It was still red. It was still recognizable. But he was a little bigger. And you could say this is just art style, but like, it always seemed like Wally, when he took the suit, he got a little bit bigger. He seemed a little bit more serious. I don't remember that Flash being, like, if you'll notice, when you see like the McFarlane figures, when they release a Flash that's Barry, he often has like a smiling face or whatever. Wally has a serious face. And I think part of that is written into the character, that he was taking over the mantle. And while he would love to run around and be like, hey, you know, blah, blah, blah. And while he did do that, when it came to like being the Flash and being business, he kind of had to in the comics. I remember that the show kind of took a lot of cues to the point where he kind of felt like Barry, and that felt a little off. Because it almost seemed like there was never a Barry Allen in that universe. It was always just Wally, and Wally had always been the Flash. And like, he just kind of had very much Barry tendencies, which was weird. I never quite understood that, because the guy that I was reading the comic books was definitely not the guy I was watching on the screen. It's like the writers knew that they had to use Wally because Wally was the current Flash, but they didn't grow up reading Wally, so they didn't know what to do with that, so they just made him Barry. That's what it felt like. It really did. And going back and watching it as an older man, it really feels like that. It does not feel like Wally. Well, this was him. This is the one I grew up with. It's the one I knew. It's the one I read. It's the one I watched on TV. It's the one I played on video games. Some Justice League Task Force right here. And yet, I talked myself out of it because I already had Barry on the shelf. I got lucky with this figure right here. I got lucky. I was lucky enough that they were closing down a GameStop. That's what they were doing. They were shutting one down. So I felt compelled enough to go see if they were throwing some stuff away. Got to be something in there I want, right? Probably not, but who knows? So I walk in there and they're closing it, and there's a bunch of stuff marked down and everything like that. And somehow, off my luck, there's this figure sitting in the back. And I said, oh man, yes. There's him, man. There's my Flash. And then I got worried for a second. I said, oh, wait, is that video game Flash? Till I picked it up and got to looking at it and turned it around and saw the back and said, oh my God, oh, that's my flash. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I went up and bought him. He was the only one there. And he was the only one I ever come across in the wild since his release. I have never seen one at Walmart. And just to keep in mind, I live close enough in driving distance, in a 40-minute driving radius, that I can go to 7 Walmarts. And I have. I never saw this figure even one time. That is wild to me, how the distribution of things work. I have 2 Targets in my area. I never saw that flash ever. Not even once, not one time. I never saw that flash in any store. A GameStop was closing, and it was almost like this one had like been in the back and they forgot about it or something and brought it out because of the clearance. But here he is. I bought him. And when it comes right down to it, this is the Flash I wanted. It is my Flash. It's the one I read. It's the one I grew up with. I did not grow up with Barry. I know I hear that all the time. I know people that are my age that will say, oh, dude, Barry's my guy. I grew up with Barry. How old are you? Oh, dude, I'm 40 years old. How did you grow up with Barry again? How did you manage that? 'Cause I'm 42. And I didn't grow up with Barry. Oh, Barry was in the comic books when we were growing up. No. He was dead. D-E-D. Dead. It wasn't a thing. I've even had people argue. People have misremembered that part in the Justice League cartoon where they go, no, because remember in the Justice League cartoon when the Thanagarians come and they like take over and it's that season finale and then the Flash is all like, I don't know if I trust you guys with my secret identity, and Batman outs him. He goes, Bruce Wayne, Clark Kent or whatever, and then he points at him and says Barry Allen. I'm like, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. That was not Barry Allen. I don't know why people remember that way, but that is not the way that line went. He was Wally West. That's who he was. It's who we grew up with. It's who we knew. It's who we lived with. He didn't come back until Rebirth. Not Rebirth in terms of the new comics where they're calling them Rebirth now. And we're already past Rebirth. You get the idea. Not that Rebirth. There was another Rebirth that was before that Rebirth, and that's where he came back, and that's the one we're talking about. So, yeah. Let's open this guy. All right. We have expression hands. We have a running hand, but only one running hand, by the way. Only one running hand, which I think is weird, and a pointer finger hand. And then fists. Why they didn't give him the 2 running hands so he could, like this type of thing, I don't know. We didn't do that. We got just one running hand. That was it. Camera. Back up, man. But this is him. He's very much a McFarlane figure. That's what I expected. I wasn't expecting anything else. He doesn't seem bigger than the other Barry necessarily. As far as I'm concerned, he's almost a complete reuse. There are a couple of different things about him. The head is different. The diaper is different. That's pretty much it. The paint scheme makes a big difference here. My Flash was not yellow and red. He was gold and red. That's what I remember. This. My Flash had a bigger lightning bolt here. This figure is a complete re-release of the video game Flash that was released. That's what I mean when I said McFarlane will repaint something, but he will not re-release something. That Wonder Woman that I always complain about, she's back on the market. If I want to buy her as a patina statue, but I don't want to buy her as a patina statue. I want the Wonder Woman that I didn't get a chance to get. That's what I want. That's the only thing that I want. This Flash was the video game Flash, and I was real close to buying that video game Flash, and I was going to take a Q-tip, I was going to take nail polish remover, and I was just going to remove the pixels. That's what I was going to do. But luckily, they have repainted him. He is right here, and Serious Face Wally West is now in my collection. There he is. Only thing I can complain about, I don't care about the fact that he didn't come with lightning effects. I wasn't going to do anything with them anyway. I'm a little confused about the hands. I don't know why he came with this. And I guess the other one is just going to have to be an open expression hand. He got 2 open expression hands, pointy hand, running hand, fists. I'm not sure why he didn't come with 2 running hands. That does seem weird to me. Like, why give me 1? What else can I use this for? It's a running hand. Like that's what this hand is. It's a throat jab, I guess. I don't know why he's running around throat jabbing people, but I mean, I guess that could be. But yeah. I am more thrilled, in all honesty, to have this Flash going on my shelf than the Flash I currently have sitting there. This one goes with the JLA. I read those books. This one looks the way I want. This is the color scheme I want. This is the character I want. This has the better, more serious face, personally, than the happy, smiling one that I have. I'm happy with this. Like, this is what I wanted. Why I talked myself out of it, I really don't know. But I did. I managed to sit there and see this guy come out, and then I said, oh, Bill, no, you've already got a Flash. Don't do it. Sometimes we will overcompensate to not get ourselves in trouble. Just like we will sometimes miss out on something, or sometimes we will literally give in to the FOMO. There are other times that we will go, do I really? No, that's that one. No, I think I'm skipping that one. And then later, like a year later or whatever, go, crap. that one is the better one, or the one I wanted, or whatever. I have another experience that's kind of like that. I actually bought the wrong Spider-Man a while ago. The first appearance Spider-Man. I got the one with the red spider on the back, not the blue one. That's a detail probably only I really care about, but in the original Ditko art in the first book, the spider on the back was a blue color. It wasn't red. The one that comes in the closed box, that's a red spider. The one that comes in the Target exclusive card back, that's the blue spider. And that's the one I should have bought. But I wanted the one that specifically said Amazing Fantasy, because I thought for sure that would be the one with the blue back. I should have done some research. I was wrong. Oh well. Life. Let's see here. Let's fix this. Did I pre-order the Jada Toys Akuma? I think we have him. Yes, we have him. He's just, he's buried. So we haven't had a chance to open him. There are 3 Jadas. But because of the system that I use for unboxing, some of the figures have gotten buried because we're not doing the big enough episodes to get everybody talked about, and I haven't been doing the episodes in between, so we haven't been getting to certain things. So Jada has not been coming up on the vote list. Right now, the items that are easily obtainable and have not been buried under Marvel Legends, because that's what happened. There were like 2 conventions back to back. And a very special deal where I was given some figures, and that really took up my space because I have a very specific little box space right here that I have set. It's basically like one shelving area right here with a little thing on the floor, and that is specifically where we put the stuff that we're going to unbox and talk about. But because of that, Marvel Legends kind of invaded the space. So it now goes Motu Origins, Marvel Legends. Underneath that is G.I. Joe, Marvel Legends, and then to the side of that is DC Multiverse. Under DC Multiverse is Jada. Under Jada is Star Wars. And then to the left of them is Marvel Legends. And then under Marvel Legends is Playmates Star Trek. And until we kind of rip through some stuff or I rearrange, I don't like to dig too much when we're doing the show. I just like to give the possibilities and then I like to go. Now that we've kind of changed this over a little bit, some of this stuff can move over and sit here because it's not as messed up. And like I said, I really need to do a couple of these unboxes and talks outside of this. I know that I really do like to do it the way that we're doing it currently. I like to have the votes and the talk and the discussions. But as we ask questions and we talk about the market and we start talking about certain situations, that kind of takes some of our time, and we're not getting all the time that we need to unbox sometimes, and then some stuff is starting to pile up and fall behind. And there's a couple figures that really we should have opened by now that I'm just going to have to go out of my way and do. Not that I'm complaining by any means, but I'm going to have to do a couple standalone videos to guarantee some openings that we haven't gotten to, because we've gotten better at asking a lot of questions and actually getting conversations and whatnot in the show, which is important for the show because the whole point of the show is to talk toys and hang out and do things like that. And then we happen to do the votes in between all of that stuff. And as long as the chat is talking, I'm not about to stop them from talking, and I'm not about to stop talking with the chat. So some of these will have to kind of be moved to the standalone openings, which won't be that big of a deal, to be fair. I'll just kind of knock 1 or 2 out a week and kind of dwindle the piles down a little bit more, because like the conventions, the last 2 conventions were pretty big conventions, and I picked up a lot of stuff, like a lot more than I had anticipated. I got like 7 Star Trek figures, which we haven't talked about. I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Marvel Legends that we haven't talked about, like, and then of course the stuff that normally comes in, of course, comes in because I got like Nimrod and stuff like that. So we'll get to them. We'll get to them as we do this show, and we'll get to them as we do the standalones. And of course, there's always going to be toy news and things like that that we need to talk about. And then there's some things that I have a feeling will not get voted easily. And I will have to go out of my way if I plan to talk about them. Like, I'm pretty sure that he has not received a vote yet. But I do kind of want to talk about this, and there's a reason I want to talk about it. Because now that we have the Superman that I have already added to my shelf, the Christopher Reeve, and this, the Superman 3 Christopher Reeve, now we have a third Christopher Reeve, which I was not expecting. And, like, the third Christopher Reeve really throws a cog, and it kind of made me go, all right, McFarlane. All right, I see it. Because the fact that they released this again, not this one, but the other variant, they released Christopher again. Now they have a comic book Christopher Reeve. They have a Superman 3 Christopher Reeve. They have a Superman Christopher Reeve, or Superman 1 and 2 Christopher Reeve, if you want to make that argument. And now they have another Christopher Reeve. So technically, they have a Christopher Reeve comic book, a Christopher Reeve 1, a Christopher Reeve 2, a Christopher Reeve 3. Because the newest one has 3 heads, including the famous flying out flying out into space and smiling for the camera and then flying off. Like, that's an iconic thing. That's another Christopher Reeve. No, Bill did not buy it. He had the opportunity. Even had it in my hand. I was at the store. I was holding it like this. I was looking at it. And I was going, 3 heads. 3 heads. Smiling camera, and the other 2 heads that we already got from the first one. Interesting. And then I said to myself, well, you don't need it, because you don't need that smiling head. Like, that's the only thing you'd be getting out of it. You already have a Christopher Reeve. We've literally just had this conversation about talking yourself out of FOMO. But this time, it was actually warranted. I don't need the smiling head. Is it cool? Yes. Is it neat that people that waited are going to get the smiling head? Yes. Is it awesome that there's an actual variant of that currently on the market that you can get, that you don't have to buy the comic book one? Yes. I love the fact that Christopher Reeve is still out there for people to buy. That is fantastic news. Little salty that I'm not going to get that head, but also not salty enough that I'm about to buy that head. I'm not going to buy that whole figure to get that smiling head. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to do it. However, that being said, the idea that that Superman is on the market made me look at it and go, they announced, or rather, it's been announced that one of the upcoming figures, or at least it's highly, highly, highly speculated, it's in like rumor lists and everything like that, that we're going to get a classic Wonder Woman, and that it's supposed to be based on the George Perez era. And we've already kind of got that costume out there, and I know that this is once again Bill complaining about that Wonder Woman, but this actually is relevant. It's not me making a joke this time. That Wonder Woman could very well, that could be what they plan to do. If they did it with that Superman, and that's literally, this wasn't even a repaint. This was the first time I have ever seen him literally just re-release a figure It is the exact Christopher Reeve Superman that I have on the shelf. I looked at it. I held it in my hands. I compared it. It is the exact one that I already have with an extra head. Is that what they're about to do with that Wonder Woman? Because all they got to do is re-release the one they already have and put in a George Perez head. That's literally all they've got to do. And maybe they worry about the color scheme. That's it. And that would put that Wonder Woman back on the market. And he doesn't have to do anything tooling-wise because that is a perfect body sculpt Wonder Woman. They don't need to fix it. They really don't. He takes that Wonder Woman, gives it a George Perez head, we're done. Not George Perez, like, you get the idea. But that's I think what they're going to do. Like, now that I've seen that Superman and I've heard that this Wonder Woman is supposedly on the way, that makes sense. And it makes me wonder if he'll play that game a couple more times before the line dies out. Like, if he takes a chance and says, hey, I'm pretty sure this would sell, make me one head or change the color or whatever, we're going to try. You know what I mean? That just makes sense to me. And yeah, I think the Bill's Choice thing, I think that's how I'm going to sneak in some of the single stuff. Because some of the stuff that we're not opening and is not going to get votes, I could wait forever, but it makes more sense just for me to kind of get some of them and get things off my mind and talk about some subjects and whatnot. Because even if I'm reviewing a figure that's like literally 10 years old, I have things to say about not just the figures, but about fandom at large and why I would have went out of my way to buy a 10-year figure. Let's see. Bill, what do you think about the Brandon Roth McFarlane Superman shipping this month? Already see pre-orders on eBay. What? We can already pre-order it? That doesn't seem right. I didn't think that pre-order was out yet. Two things. One, I want that Brandon. I want it. I think it looks good. I don't think it's accurate necessarily to the original movie. Sure, it's fine. It's passable. There will be issues with the suit. The S I'm already noticing is bigger than it's supposed to be. I actually think that that's an improvement because the suit looks a little better with the bigger S, but it's not accurate. So people are going to complain about that. Now, what do I want it for? One, I actually think Brandon was a tragically underrated Superman that had the potential to go the distance had he just been given a second movie. I'm not kidding about that. I think you were looking at another decade-long representation of Superman had they just done the first movie, realized that that was getting their footing, and took their chances on a second one. I think he was spot on for what they needed for Superman to work. I honestly believe that. Two, the reason I want it. With a Brandon head, once I get a Brandon Superman and a Brandon head, I'm going to rebuy. I usually don't like to do this, but I'm going to do it in this case. I am going to rebuy the Kingdom Come Superman. And I'm going to flip that head onto that body. Because I honestly think that doing that will kind of give us that Superman from the television series where Brandon came back. I think that the body sculpt will work. Before I do it, I am going to test it. I'll get that Brandon. Then when I get that Brandon, I will look him over and I will make the head swap. I'll probably do it right here on the show. And I'll see if it works. And if it works, if it makes me feel like that's it, then I'm going to have to go buy another one of them. Because that was an amazing Superman. Maybe I will have to modify it a little bit because he's supposed to be looking a little older. Maybe I'll have to add a little gray or something like that. I'll go look at it and kind of determine how Brandon really looked during that series because I don't 100% remember. I know that it was basically the Kingdom Come outfit. And it was good looking. And we kind of already have that in the McFarlane line. And it wouldn't be that hard to do it. Think the bigger S is an improvement. And that figure actually looks like Brandon Roth. when he returned as Superman in 2019, Crisis on Infinite Earth, Kingdom Come. Exactly. Absolutely. Okay. Then yeah, that's what I plan to do. I'm very much looking forward to it. I don't feel like it's out yet. If it has, like, I know that's not exactly what you said. You said that you're already seeing Superman ship. He's shipping this month and already seeing pre-orders on eBay. I didn't think there were pre-orders out, but eBay likes to do crap where these people will basically sell a pre-order that they haven't even bought the figure yet, and you can kind of track down exactly who's doing resell crap, where they're like going out and buying everything off the shelf so that nobody else gets it, and then going home and immediately making $5-10 profits. That's skeezy, personally. It is. It's skeezy. It's a skeezy practice. I don't love it at all. However, I'm pretty sure that's where a lot of those eBay listings come from. But when it does come out, I'm hoping I don't miss it, because that's one I want. Like, I liked Brandon a lot, and I really thought he could have went the distance, and I really felt like he got cheated, and I really feel like I would love the idea of doing the head swap to get the Kingdom Come Superman Brandon figure, like, because I don't know if we're going to get one, but I can make one. And yeah, it's a little more difficult to find, but there are still some offhand shops here and there where you can still get that Kingdom Come Superman. Like, I'm not saying it's completely easy to come across. I'm saying that I'm still finding it here and there. It's how they did it with the Wonder Woman You Wanted, Bill. They sold pre-sales, and people got suckered and bought them out on eBay. Really? They sold pre-sales. People got suckered. Yeah. I'm telling you, that is like the biggest kick to me of the entire McFarlane line. Literally all of it. Every single thing that he has done, every single thing that has come out, every single thing that I've seen from it, everything that I've loved and hated from the line, the biggest kick in the butt that I have experienced from the whole thing is I really did want that Wonder Woman. I think, honestly, because I've missed other figures. I didn't get that Jim Gordon. I did want that Jim Gordon. I didn't get him. Sucks. Can't get everything. I don't have the ability to get everything. I have the money I have. We say it all the time. $20 spent here is $20 I can't spend here. I was spending $20 over here. I took a chance. The chance backfired. I didn't get that Scarecrow. I really did like that Scarecrow. There's plenty of things I didn't get that I would have liked to have had. But they don't like sit on me. They don't like feel like I really got screwed. It's not like that kind of thing where I go, oh man, I really, honestly, really wanted that. But that Wonder Woman really, it digs at me. Like, that is a figure I wanted. I mean, when they first announced it, when they showed the pictures, I was thrilled. Like, I thought that was it, man. Like, that is the Wonder Woman I wanted on the shelf. Absolutely. Then, she sold out in what felt like 30 seconds. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but I'll tell you, she was gone so fast that I had no chance. I mean, no chance at all. Like, I got on. I was maybe 1 to 2 minutes late. I wasn't on Big Bad refreshing the screen, like waiting. I missed it by like probably seconds. Because it was, I went to lunch, I sat down, I got my stuff, I had to wait for the microwave. It was probably like 11:02, and I was like, I better buy that Wonder Woman. Click, she's gone. And I said, oh crap, Entertainment Earth, gone. Crap, GameStop, gone. And I was like, holy crap, what happened? And I could not find her. I tried like 10 different places that I knew about. Could not find her. And I said, man, I hope they restock her. Nope. I never ran across her in a store. I never found her as a restock on any kind of Big Bad or anything like that. Like, there wasn't like sometimes you'll have it where Big Bad will like be like, hey, we're out of pre-orders. And then the pre-order will come back up because people cancel their pre-orders. Things like that. That never happened. She was just gone, and she never came back. I never ran across her in the wild. She's just gone, man. And she was like it, man. I really wanted that one. Of all the figures in the line, I probably wanted her second most. Second most. Because the one I wanted the most, I did get. I got Power Girl, and I'm thrilled with her. I think she's the best figure they've done in the entire line. And I know how people feel about that Power Girl. I don't care. I don't care. Anybody can hate her for whatever reason they want. She is the best McFarlane figure on my shelf. I love that Power Girl. I think she's fantastic. And I'm positive I would have felt the same way about that Wonder Woman. Yep, and Bill, the thing is, at the end of the 2019 Crisis, after the timeline change, his costume changed from Kingdom Come suit, black to red and yellow, big S at the end, so the figure with the big S fits. It fits to the most part, but he was still wearing... I think there's going to be a couple of things that are wrong. It's not just the S. I don't think those are the right boots. Also, the figure, like, how do I put it? The figure that we're about to get, the Brandon, that's supposed to be the Return Superman, it's not the Return Superman. It's kind of like an amalgamation of a couple different suits, because the boots aren't really right. And the suit is not right, because his suit is textured. It's not flat. It's not a flat suit. It wasn't a flat suit. But this suit, and then the S is actually too big. I'm not complaining about these things. I'm just saying that watch, when people start reviewing this guy, when all the reviews come out and all the pictures come out, there's going to be a lot of people talking about everything that's wrong with him. They're not going to necessarily be wrong. How does it feel to have a Brandon? It's going to feel great. And there's going to be things that they've changed on the suit that I would personally argue make the suit better, but won't make the suit accurate. And people will complain about it. We've been doing this long enough to know people will complain about it. But at you could be right that suit more fits to the end of the television series, but even then it's not right, because it very much was the Kingdom Come suit with brighter colors and just the more traditional S instead of the black background S. So, like, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how people, like, how picky people are about it. I think it looks great, but I'm also very well aware that people are about to complain about him. What Superman would you add to your shelf if it became a figure? George, Dean, Kirk, Tyler, Henry, Tom, David. Well, we can count Dean out right now. I don't want that Superman. I don't want Dean on my shelf. I have not seen Dean do anything of note in my life since Superman. And that series I actually didn't care for to begin with. And no, I'm not exaggerating. There were things I appreciated about it, like in its time when it was a thing, and the fact that it was even Superman on TV at a time when Superman was pretty much forgotten and little things like that. But for the most part, I never liked that show. I tried to watch that show later as an adult, thinking maybe it would have grown on me or changed certain aspects and I would have felt a different way about it. Still no. I don't want anything to do with that Superman. Like, it does nothing for me. Would it be cool to have a George on the shelf? For the history of it. George would be cool. However, that history aside, I watched a couple episodes of that here and there growing up. And that's it. So I don't have a personal history with it that would have me like running out to buy it. Kirk, Tyler, trying to remember who they played. I know these are Superman. I'm just trying to remember. There's a lot of different Superman out there, like people that have played him in the black and white and different things like that, and everything. But yeah, none of these actors that are mentioned right here, I have vague memories of them being Superman, and that's it. So I don't think that any of that, like any of these necessarily would like get a buy from me. Christopher is the live action Superman for me. Absolutely. He's the one. Henry was never given a fair shot. I don't want any of his Superman because I don't like any of his Superman. That's not a slight against Henry. I think Henry could have been a fantastic Superman. Because when they finally did back off this dark Superman crap, he actually was showing some real promise as the kind of Superman I want. But it was far and few between in very specific scenes. David, if I could get a very solid David, not one that looks like Shooter McGowan, that looks like David, I love that Superman movie. I love it. Like, I'm a huge fan of it. That reignited my passion for Superman. That one movie, David, is the specific reason that my trust in Superman has returned. Get back up. So, David might be the answer here. I don't want George. I don't have a personal history with it. It's just the coolness of it being the history of Superman that would catch my attention. Dean, no interest at all. Kirk, trying to remember who that was. Was that in the Superboy series? Because I honestly cannot remember. Because Kirk and Tyler, that sounds like the Superboy series on television. Henry, I spoke about that. I think that he's just been mishandled. Tom, he's the one I'm having the most trouble with. Because we wouldn't get him in the Superman suit. And we never got him in a Superman suit. Even when we finally got him, it was all CGI. He never wore the Superman suit. He was never Superman. He was Clark the whole time. So the closest we could get is like that leather jacket crap. I don't want that leather jacket crap. That Tom was very good Superman, or rather Clark, in a universe that never really had Superman up till the end, and Superman had already dealt with all of his Superman problems by the time he became Superman. And there was like little things like that. Like, I like Smallville for what it is, but also see a lot of its faults. And in those faults, Tom, never actually having been Superman in that series, makes me feel like I don't want a figure of him, because it would be like, what, him in a flannel? Him in that leather jacket? Him shirtless with an S on his chest? Like what is that? Like, I just don't think Tom would make a good figure, because the only thing you could do is a speculatory figure. And if you did it, it would be even more messed up, because the Superman suit that they were advertising back then when they did that show was the Superman Returns costume. So it would have been the costume that Brandon wore and is known for on Tom, which he's not known for at all, which would also look awkward because Tom is much bigger. Easily, he was a bigger dude than he was a bigger dude than Brandon. So like that suit would look even more awkward on him, I feel. I don't think I want Tom. My answer here has to be David. I know that was a lot for this one question, but it has to be David. What if they made a Superman and Lois, Tyler Superman, with the Max 40 cartoon suit? Ooh! Oh, you got me. You got me. I didn't even consider that. Dude. Tyler Superman and that's my favorite suit. That's my favorite suit on one of my favorite actors for Superman. Dude. I'd buy that. Okay, you got me. You got me. I don't really care for all of his other Superman suits. They're fine. I don't hate them, but I don't love them. They're just passable enough that I go, that's Superman. And then I end up liking him as Superman, not necessarily the look that he has as Superman. And that's fine. I watched the series. I really enjoyed the series. I really liked his acting. I liked the way that it did it. And I always let the suit go because I felt like we were dealing with an older Superman that was raising a family and yada yada. We're not the young Superman. We're not the older Superman. We're kind of like the midlife raising kids Superman. So maybe it's a suit that, by my headcanon, I never got to see, and now I'm seeing it, and it's fine, and it's kind of got like a rebirth, not a rebirth kind of look, but like, you know, that kind of like, it's fine. It doesn't thrill me necessarily, but it's fine. But that 40s cartoon suit that they did in that series, oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, so there's two I would buy. I was there out of curiosity. I looked, and one seller had a bunch of Wonder Woman stock. He was selling them like candy. There would be 50 in stock on his seller page. Then he'd magically get more. Like, and how does that happen? Right. Like, I can't find a single one, and this guy has like an entire treasure trove of them. So I'm like, holy crap. I'll be honest. If I'd have seen that, I probably would have paid the 50. If I could, I would probably realistically, it's not often that I do it because I don't want to make myself mad. Sometimes I will check eBay to see if there's one that I would buy, but a lot of them are asking like $100 or more, and I'm not doing that. I got the Power Girl figure too. Agreed. Love her. That figure is absolutely perfection. Bill, Dean Cain played Kara's dad in Supergirl series, and Helen Slater was Dean Cain's wife, Karen. Oh, really? I remember watching a very little of that Supergirl series, so maybe that's the reason I didn't realize that. Because, like, I watched some of it, but I really hated the fact that they were just making Supergirl Superman with boobs. Like, that's what that show was. They were like, hey, what if she worked for a magazine and was basically a reporter and had a Jimmy Olsen, and like, stop that. That is not Supergirl. When you let her, Supergirl is her own character with her own ideas and own struggles. She's not what if Superman was a girl? And that's what that series was, and I kind of hated it for that. Like, I probably got through like 15 episodes and said, I'm tired if what if Superman was a girl. Like, they should have just let her be Supergirl. Like, I really don't like this, and I moved on. Henry Cavill was more juvenile Superman in Justice League Theatrical. Yes. Right. Shooter McGavin. Yes. Go look at that, I picked that Superman up. That Superman from the newest movie. The David Superman. I picked him up at a Target, and I was looking at the face, and I almost bought it. And then as I was looking at the face, I started thinking about the golf movie, Adam Sandler. And while I was watching it, rather while I was looking at it, it hit me, and I was like, oh no. It didn't look like David to me. It looked like Shooter McGavin. Like that's who it looked like, and now I can't unsee that, and I need them to redo that head sculpt if I'm ever going to buy that Superman. Kirk was the Superman from the serials. Okay, I have seen that Superman. Okay. Tom doesn't suit up till the very last episode of Smallville. He never suits up. I know that they say that. That's a CGI. He never suits up. Even when he runs off the building and he opens his shirt and you see the Superman, that is not an actual costume. They CG'd that onto him. He never wore the costume even one time in the whole series ever. He never wore it. Not even once. He's never put it on. Ever. He's never been Superman. CG. There was a little CG model that looked like him that still wasn't even necessarily high res or anything, which is the reason they shot it the way they did. And when he pulls his shirt back, they didn't even have him wearing the Superman suit. Then he has actually been he's actually been in interviews saying that he just opened it up and it was just a shirt and they CGI'd the logo. He's never worn the suit. He never wore it ever. Not ever. Not even once. Could care less about Tyler Hackland Superman. He looks like Joaquin Phoenix with 5 o'clock shadow in that Superman and Lois series. But Tyler. Never been a fan of Henry's suit. It's okay for its going. It's okay for what it's going for, to fit the vibe of that universe. But I'm sorry, it's just not Superman to me. Not that suit. Think the 40s cartoon suit was the only time he felt like Superman. Rest of the series, meh. I can get that. I understand that it wasn't for everybody. I don't hate it at all that not everybody liked it. But at the time that I watched it, I was enjoying that series. I don't know if I just watched it at the right time. I did watch it after it was done, and I think that helped me a little bit because I could just binge through an entire thing, and I didn't really take it in or like sit with certain things. I just kind of watched it. Like me and my wife sat down and we kicked through like 9 episodes, and then we came back and kicked through 7 episodes. Then we watched 5. Then we had a day where we could sit and we were like doing nothing. We killed off like 10 episodes, and it was nice to just be able to like run through it. And I think it really helped, because I didn't have time to really dwell on anything that like rubbed me the wrong way. It was just like, this isn't bad. And it was just kind of ran through it. At the time, they were $60 after he ran out. Others were jacking up the prices to astronomical prices. It was and is crazy. I've seen them going for... Yes, the last time I checked, I found that Wonder Woman for $129. That was the last time I checked. I found one on Amazon and one on eBay and just said, nope, and then I stopped looking. And I don't know. I don't know what my chances, if this Wonder Woman that's rumored is coming out, maybe I'll get lucky, and it's what I hope it is. If it's not, I don't know. Will I ever own that Wonder Woman that I've been gunning for? I don't know. I don't know. If I never do, sucks, but there'll be 1,000 other chances at 1,000 other figures, and I'll get over it. But that is the one kick in the teeth from this entire line, is that is the figure I wanted more than anything. Yes, that is the movie I'm talking about. Shooter McGavin, Happy Gilmore. Yes, that's what that David the head sculpt they use for that figure, that's what he looks like. Agreed on the Supergirl series. The first season was good. After that, you're right, it was more gender-bent Superman. Bill, so I take it you're not going to get the new Melissa Bionest McFarlane Supergirl that's releasing this year. No. I was kind of hoping that if they did another Supergirl, it would be the movie Supergirl to go with Christopher. That's what I was hoping it was going to be. I don't dislike the way that she looks, mind you. I think she has a solid Supergirl outfit. In fact, I also like the one that's like the one piece with the pants and everything. I don't think that's a bad suit. I think they both work. I think that she looks great. I think that she has a fair attitude for the character that she was asked to play. That's important. Because on a personal level, the two Supergirls that I read, because I've only read 2 Supergirl series ever, but the 2 that I read, they were not gender-bent Superman. Like, that's not what the character was. I don't know why, when they moved her to her own series, they felt the need to do that, but they did. And it made me not appreciate that series. And even though I thought she was good for what they asked her to do and what she was doing with it, and I really enjoyed her on the crossovers, she was not Supergirl to me. She was not the thing that I had read in the books that I had read. It felt very off. It felt wrong. Something felt weird about her, and I just had no connection. And like I said, I probably got about 15 episodes in, and I said, no, I'm fine. I'm done. So I don't think I finished season 1. Still have time till 2027. Todd can maybe do Helen Slater Supergirl. That would be cool. Like, because I have Christopher twice. And since I have 2 Christophers, it would really be cool to put Helen next to him, because the original idea for getting Helen, getting a Supergirl, that movie has so many problems. It is amazing to me. That movie blows my mind. It does. You have Helen Slater. She looks idealized what you feel a real Supergirl would look like. Then they give you the costume. And right alongside the Christopher Reeve thing that we just done movies with, she looks like she's Supergirl. I mean, if you take her and you assume she's in the same universe, that costume is perfect. That look is perfect. The way they make her fly, perfect. I'm not even kidding. I'm not just blowing smoke here. I'm telling you, it's perfect. She flies with like an agile, like it's almost ballerina. It's crazy the way that she flies compared to Superman. Superman feels like he takes flight. He makes it happen, right? Like he forces himself up off of gravity and says, let me go, gravity, I'm flying. Supergirl doesn't do that. It's almost like she takes to the wind and then like rides it up. Like it's a very different feeling, and I really enjoyed that. It made them distinct, but so good. And then you give her all these different powers and all these different abilities, just like Superman. She's super strong. She could do crazy things, like she could stop an excavator and things like that. She can pick heavy things up, and she could do all this stuff. And then for some reason, there's like a stupid love story and like a witch and love potions and an invisible dragon. So like she like fights nothing, and it's not exciting. And like, even if you were to say magic is the best way to counteract the Supergirl, because we're going to say this because I hear this all the time, Superman is weak to magic. No, he's not. First off, it's incorrect. It's incorrect. That's not his weakness. I'm sorry to be like a super geek strickler here, but look, he is weak to kryptonite. He is not weak to magic. He is susceptible to magic. But that's like saying I'm susceptible to a gunshot. I am. I don't know that I would necessarily say that it's my weakness. I'm susceptible to radiation. I don't know that it, like, is my weakness. It's not a kryptonite. I have a chance of living through it or whatever. I don't know. Like, it's hard for me to explain. But, like, it's not the same thing. Like, it's just not. He's susceptible to magic. And that is dangerous when you're talking about one of the strongest things on the entire planet, because he is susceptible to mind control, magic, manipulation, and he is every bit at the mercy of magical power like everybody else in that universe. Batman, and I guess this is the best way I can explain it instead of saying what I'm weak to, because almost everything kills me. I'm just a dude. But, like, Batman is also susceptible to magic at the exact same level as Superman. It's no difference. Neither one of them are stronger versus it. Neither one of them are weaker versus it. They're susceptible to it. It is magic. It is broken. It does what it wants to do. If you take that concept and you have a magic enemy fight a super girl, that could work. Because had they actually fought and she'd have, like, thrown her hand out and shot lightning or something like that and hit Supergirl, you could have made the argument that that hurt Supergirl real bad. While she could have literally got struck by a lightning bolt and walked it off, magic is not the same thing. It's not an elemental damage. It's not like a rock being thrown at her. It's not a missile that goes off in her face. Her invulnerability doesn't mean anything when she's encountering magical property. That's a different kind of energy, and she is susceptible to it, and you could have had a real fight there where she had to figure things out. Like, she could have probably had to, like, rip up the street or something like that and then, like, charge her while she was trying to shoot something through it or anything like that, and then, you know, like, hit her with, like, you could have done a million different things. Back up, camera. Like, and instead you did, like, invisible weird dragon fight scene and, like, weird love story with, like, love potions. That movie is weird. It's like they took 60% of it and was like, hey, we've got something here. And then they were like, now what do we do? And they're like, oh, I know what we do. The rest of the 40%, we are going to crap all over this movie. It is going to be one of the worst things anybody's ever watched. And then you're like, wait, why? And they're like, well, get this. I got an idea. We got the Supergirl thing laid out perfectly, right? Yeah. Well, instead of her ship crash landing on Earth, and then her realizing, you know, that because of a time dilation or something of that nature, a wormhole or whatever, that she was sent here to actually look after baby Kal-El, only to figure out that he's already all grown up, and now she's got to figure out her life in this weird world that she doesn't understand, while she remembers Krypton and he doesn't. No. Get this. She's in Kandor. Oh. Okay, and where's that? It's in a lake. What? Yeah. It's like in a weird space-time thing, and when she leaves it, she just flies out of a lake. Now she's on Earth. What? Like, what? What? Okay, well, that's weird, but what should we do about a bad guy? The bad guy is like the biggest thing. Like, we need a villain. Superman just fought like 3 superpowered Supermen, so we got to do something real good. And they're like, I've got that covered. There's a lady that likes a guy, and we're just going to do like the Sleeping Beauty thing. She's jealous. What? Like, why? Like, why would you take this concept? Like, they had it, I'm telling you, they had nearly the perfect actress. They had just enough money to run an actual effects situation. Like, there was almost nothing they couldn't have done. And instead, they just completely crapped over every single part of that movie that would have worked. Like, it blows my mind. FYI, it's full circle. Do you know Shooter McGavin a.k.a. Christopher McDonald, actually voiced Jor-El in Superman, the animated series. I did know that. Then returned to voice Superman himself in Batman Beyond episodes. Yes, I did know that. That's where he wears the white Superman suit. I thought that was cool. I own Supergirl 84 on Blu-ray, the theatrical cut and director's cut version. Do you know Chris Reeve was in the entire script with Helen and they cut him out? He was supposed to... Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm getting at. Like, they couldn't help but just screw up the entirety. They have an entire situation where she shows up and he's already there and they already have an actor that perfectly fits Superman and they make her costume so that it will actually represent and work very well with his, and like everything is set for like him to basically make a crossover and get her started in her own movies. And like, I understand that you can't always make the actors show up when you want. I understand it. I get it. But like, if you couldn't have him, then you either wait till you can have him. Because the only two actors that matter in the entirety of that whole thing, the only actors that matter are Chris and Helen. That is it. You wait till they can work together. That's it. Everything else, everybody else is recastable. Everybody. No one else in that script matters. Nobody. No one. You wait. Like, I don't understand why you would purposely... She had so much potential. She really did. She's one of those absolute tragedy movies where I know it could have worked. The liberties they took with some comic book properties back then, it flabbergasts the mind. Doesn't it, though? Like, sometimes you watch one of those old movies and you're just like, why? Every now and then it pays off. Sometimes you do watch a movie or whatever and they take certain liberties and we just let it go because the movie is good enough that the liberties they took really did pay off. It happens. Spider-Man. Okay? I don't care. I know some people are going to feel a certain way about this. I actually like all three Spider-Man movies. I don't care. I like them all. They don't bother me the way that they bother other people. I really like one. I absolutely love two. And I'm actually fine with three. I have a good time when I watch it. And I watch all three of them. When I decide to watch them, I go from 1 to 3 and I watch the whole things. I enjoy them, even with their flaws. And I'm very aware they're flawed. And the liberties they took don't bother me. Like, for that specific Spider-Man in that reality, with those movies, with that attitude, nothing about it bugs me. All works for me. But there are other times that I watch a movie and I see some decisions that were made and some changes that were decided on, and I cannot figure out what they were thinking. I guess I cannot wrap my head around it. It is shocking. Shocking. There are pictures of Helen Slater and Christopher Reeve together at the premiere of Superman 3 because Chris and Helen were already rehearsing and prepping to star in the movie together. Right! That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. And look, after Superman 3, Superman could have used a boost. And I really think that she could have done something had they got her off to the right start. We don't talk about Steel. Ooh, Steel. Well, it is 9:30. I want to thank everybody that stopped in, people that voted. I know we only opened 2 toys. We really had enough time this time. We probably could have done more. But, hey, it is what it is. I'm not that worried about it. Yes, these are live unboxes, but these are also live hangouts. As long as the chat is talking and we're having a good time and the show is actually moving and it has priority, I'm not worried about it. I will get to some of these figures on standalone videos in between the chapters that we do. 100% okay with that. And to be fair, if we're only doing a couple of figures here and there, maybe it'll help me to catch everything back up. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. I gotta go watch an episode of Star Trek because I gotta be powering through that first series. That's the one I'm watching this year. I'm almost at the end of season 1, entering season 2, and I plan to watch the animated series, and I plan to watch the movies as kind of like a cap into it this year, and that's what I'm tearing through. And then there's actually 2 series that I plan to go into that I've never actually had a chance to watch. I actually finally plan to sit down and watch both Thundercats and G.I. Joe. I've actually got them out. I've got them set to the side on my entertainment center and whatnot. So they're my next like dive-in project. And of course, keep talking toys, keep the YouTube moving and things like that. If you hung out, I appreciate it. If you voted, I appreciate it. If you talked, I appreciate it. If you just stopped in to watch the episode, I still appreciate it. Guys, I will catch you in the next one, and I will try to make some shorts or something to talk about it. I kind of need input on this, so you guys will let me know here and there when I do release some things. We might move this to Sunday to guarantee a 5 o'clock time where I can get in at 5 and then go like 5, 6, 7, 8 and get like 3 hours guaranteed or something like that while still having enough time to like close up at the end of the night and things like that. We might do that because it would be more manageable, and it would also, there would be certain things that would be guaranteed, like if my wife does work over or whatever, it can never be on a Sunday because of the way the schedule, the job she has, they don't operate on Sunday or whatever. So like that's not an issue. And so that day is the most open to me. There's a couple of things that might get in the way with that, but we'll figure that out. We might. Right now, I don't know if that's a guarantee. We'll be talking about it as the week goes on. But for right now, thanks for hanging out. I'm going to get out of here. See you next video, I guess.